All right, so if you're one that listens to our podcast via our YouTube channel, we're apologizing for this one. It's going to be audio only. We had a problem with the video file itself and cannot get it to upload to our hard drive. So we apologize for that, but we still think this is a really good episode. A lot of information about turkey hunting, and we think you're really going to enjoy it. You look like a cop with that mustache. Ready?
All right.
You guys ready?
Time's Up Outdoors, podcast episode 4, coming at you from the ice, talking about things that don't happen on the ice. We are going to talk about turkey hunting, the ins and outs, the basics, the calling, decoy setups, and everything in between. So, here we go.
All right, welcome to the podcast. Welcome to Time's Up Outdoors podcast, episode 4. We on 4 or 3? This
5?
is 4. No, this is 4. We're 4. We're back here on Whitmore Lake in an ice fishing shanty.
Again.
Trying to kill some pike. And we got one already, so that's a good thing. But today, this episode does not have anything to do with pike fishing or ice fishing. It has to do with turkey hunting. It's going to be basically a how-to basics on turkey hunting, because I've never turkey hunted in my life. I've never even thought about it until last year when these guys started talking to me about it. I just pretty much deer hunt, small game, rabbits, birds, pheasants. So this year I'm hoping to get after one, and these guys, I mean, how many turkeys do you guys?
As you know, between me, Niko, and Hunter, we shoot piles of turkeys.
Yeah. Not piles.
Not piles.
One turkey a season.
Equating to a pile.
Equating to a pile over their lifetime.
Correct.
Because pile of turkey would be illegal. So we're going to go through the basics of turkey hunting on this podcast. So if you already know how to turkey hunt, you should listen, because then you can comment and tell us how you do it differently and how we suck. Or if you don't know how to turkey hunt, you can listen along and maybe you learn a couple things. So let's just get started and
Let's get into the meat and potatoes.
Niko.
I think Stephen Ellis says that, right? Meat and potatoes.
They say a lot of things. So, alright, so I got 160 acres in Calhoun County, and I want to scout it for turkeys. So what should I be looking for on my property? Let's start it off with, what am I looking for?
Terrain-wise, right?
First time going out turkey hunting, I have property. Where am I going to sit? Where am I going to go?
I think that's something to key up on, too, because you said you're 160 acres in Calhoun County, right?
Yeah.
You could have the most badass 160 acres in Calhoun County
for deer,
and there might not be a single turkey on it.
Right.
Because they have certain little needs that they have to survive.
So what do they need? What is the perfect property in your guys' eyes?
Perfect property in my eyes, you're going to have the top ridge with some big old mature trees with big leveled branches that they can get up and roost in, with secluded little areas for them to fly down in. So like food plots, I always try to find anything with green or any lower valleyed fields, basically, kind of where they feel hidden and secure in those areas, but big enough to where they don't feel like a predator's going to sneak up on them all the time. So that's anything I look for, basically lower valleys. But at the same time, you shoot them on hilltops all the time too. So
if you got a big swamp with like actual alive trees in a big swamp, they like to roost over water. If they
real quick, I forgot to introduce our guest. We got a guest today. It's his name is Hunter. So I don't know if that tells you anything about him, but it's Hunter Tonti.
Which is Niko's brother. And if you're listening to this, there's probably a good chance that you've seen all of our waterfowl footage thus far.
He's in it.
He's in all of those. So he's our master caller or master.
So back to what you're looking for in your property.
Yeah, that's one of my biggest things is if you can find a place if you can find their roost, you'll be able to find where they go afterwards.
And they're roosting in trees. Remember,
yes, they will
this
always
is basics. I already knew that, but some of the listeners might not.
Yes, turkeys fly. They fly surprisingly well.
Well, the first time I didn't know they flew. I knew most of my life, but when I was a kid, I didn't know. And I was walking out to my blind. First time my dad let me go deer hunt by myself. I was walking out in the dark, and a turkey flew down, I think, or up. I don't know. I couldn't see it.
Was it in the morning?
I could hear it. It was early in the morning.
Yeah, so it was flying down.
It was the loudest thing I ever heard, and I literally laid down on the ground because I thought something was going to attack me. I was like, 14, I think. So
on my property, what I'm looking for is my lease in Brooklyn. You guys saw it when we were out small game hunting.
Perfect.
And so there is a patch of woods.
Oh yeah.
All hardwoods, and they're big base, like Niko was saying. They've got big branches that come off the side of them. You can fit, 6 or so turkeys in on one branch. And during, this time of year, if you were to go out there in the morning, it would look like a foliaged tree. There's so many turkeys roosted up in these things.
So are you talking about that last
Where
bit
we-
of woods, that last bit of timber that we went through?
So like right before we.
So you want to be able to see through it.
Because what they're going to do is they want to put themselves in a position where they can see down, but you might not necessarily be able to see up.
Okay.
So, as possible as that is, right?
And that's why they like Hunter was saying, to be over water.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that ridge where you're talking about, there's a lot of water in there.
And so essentially, what happens every spring is when the farmers start to go fertilize and they start tilling stuff up, all of that stuff drains into this timber. So that essentially becomes flooded timber. So they've got everything right there. They've got a food source, all their farmers' fields. They've got the roosting area, and then they've got flooded timber, which is all your water. On top of that, they're going to move. So what I've noticed is somebody cackling over there?
Yeah.
So what I've noticed in the springtime, they're going to end up moving. They'll come down from their roost. They'll hit their water holes. They'll scrape up a little bit, and then they'll start walking on the field, just like Niko's saying, using these spurs and draws to hide themselves while they're covering ground to go look for food. Now that's what Brooklyn is all about. I've got all of my farmers' fields have all kinds of structure to them, to draws, to spurs, and so that's what I like to look for. On top of that, like he's saying, we've got a lot of ridges up on field ridges that are high enough to where they can look down and put themselves in a good vantage point to block themselves from predators.
Turkeys are all about feeling safe. Everything tries to kill turkeys its whole entire life. From the minute they are an egg, they're trying to be eaten. So
They're trying to be eaten?
Well, they're trying to not be eaten.
Something is trying to.
Something's trying to eat
That's
them.
a weird thing to want to do.
Yeah. So they're all about survival. So they just want to feel safe at all times. So if you want to get out and walk around your property in the springtime and see do I have turkeys out here? So you go out before your turkey season. You can go look under those big trees that we're talking about. Go try to find the biggest trees on your property where maybe they're going to go roost, and look underneath of them. You will know if turkeys roost in it because there is a toilet under that tree.
Mm-hmm.
There will be turkey crap everywhere.
Oh, for real?
Oh, yeah. Because
Okay.
they just sit up there. Because birds can't control when they poop.
Yeah.
They just poop. That's why when you see them take off to fly, they poop. It's like when you try to pick something up and you fart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a big thing is people get discouraged when they're walking around or they're deer hunting and you don't see any turkeys. Doesn't necessarily mean there won't be turkeys there in the springtime. They're going to look for different things when it comes to their breeding season and their nesting seasons. Because obviously the toms are going to go where the hens are, and the hens are going to find the best place for their nest. Like our property, where our dad shot that big buck this year, we hardly see turkeys on it in the fall. I mean, hardly. I've seen them I may count on one hand how many times I've seen them in the fall, a big group of turkeys there. But springtime comes around, it's nothing to kill 2 or 3 birds off that same property.
Yeah.
All right, so what about this, though? What does the same go for if you see them in the fall? If you see a lot of turkeys in the fall,
They might not be there in the spring.
Yep.
See, and that's like, and then you have like property, like my property. I'll see turkeys all year long.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the opening day of bow season. We saw
Your property's got a good mix of
A
terrain,
good
so it's
flock.
got everything
Right.
they need all in one.
they're not going far
Yeah.
from where.
And I'm really not sure why they're not on that property. It doesn't make any sense why they're not there. There's food always, and they'll go on your end,
So
right
just
down the road.
Yeah,
but-
just don't be discouraged about it. Go look. You can go look for sand bowls is a big thing. I look dust bowls. Basically, you'll see anywhere there's kind of sandier ground or dustier ground,
That was
they will
my
make.
next point.
It almost looks like a deer scrape, but it's a little deeper into the ground. There's usually feathers and crab and turkey prints in it.
And it's big.
Yeah, they're a little
It's
bigger,
big.
and they get in there and they lay down live trail cam pictures of it. We'll put it up on the podcast. I'll send them to you.
Yeah.
They lay down in there and they flap their wings real hard and they get dust all over themselves and helps
Right.
keep the bugs off and everything else. So
That's a big thing.
that's a huge sign. If you find dust bowls on your property that are being hit and you hunt over that, if you don't know anything about turkey hunting, do this. Find the dust bowls and sit there all day. You'll kill a turkey.
Now, where do you
Just
typically look for those dust bowls? Like, I look for scrapes on field edges a lot. I mean,
So
I know
the
that's not the only place to look.
Dust bowls seem to be on edges more too because you have more loose dirt or drier dirt there on the edges. It's not tilled under all the time and stuff.
Yeah.
But basically, secluded fields. So I find them like where I shot my bird last year. It was a big bottom in this field that went kind of near their roost, and they felt safe there. And they would hang out there and they would strut around all day, and the hens make their dust bowls and you just hang out in there. So food plots, you see them a lot in there. It's usually on the edges because in the middle of the field is obviously crop.
Now, you saying food plots? You're talking like food plots for deer. Is there a? I mean,
if you have a food plot for deer with clover in it, that clover is going to be pretty and green. It's going to hold little bugs. It's going to hold the greens that they want, the seeds that they want. It's going to hold turkeys.
Okay.
And actually, it's not as bad as it sounds. If you are planting a food plot, if you are like just planted, you know, you're going to plant in April. Typically, if you're depending on what crop, obviously, but they're going to be all over that seed too.
Yep, for sure.
They will be. If you plant a food plot and you want it to grow, the best thing you could do, like property management wise, is to go out there and turkey hunt, because you're gonna get, they're gonna find that seed and they're gonna start picking away at that seed.
Yeah, when I see a farmer just go plant, I start looking for birds.
Yeah, well, that makes sense because last year I planted that little corner on the creek on my property, and I have so many turkey pictures on my trail cam. And
they're birds.
Yeah, they're gonna eat seed.
And that same thing, as soon as you see a farmer go till his field up and get all that new dirt and new bugs and everything else up, turkeys are in there. Turkeys eat bugs. Don't forget that.
Right.
They eat frogs. Yeah. You'll see birds down in the swamp bottoms of little water holes. They go down there and eat frogs. They eat all kinds. They eat pretty much anything.
Okay.
I've seen. So what you were saying about those sand bowls or those dust bowls? They do the same thing on like a swampy, like where my property, that timber floods, and they'll do the same thing in the mud. Then you'll see just off, not in the water, but off to where it's still wet, you'll see where they go down there and they just dig around, because like he's saying, there's a bunch of mosquito, a bunch of larvae down there, and so you'll see where they're opening, they're essentially digging holes to look for stuff, worms and bugs and stuff like that. So depending on where you are, and I find a lot of these dust spots just inside of a field edge, more so than on the field edge. Like a scrape, you're going to find it like right on that field edge. Mine's actually, all the ones that I see are just inside the woods. I mean, maybe 15 yards.
If you're listening to this too, try to look at our YouTube video. There's going to be example. We'll have pictures of all these dust bowls and stuff on there for you guys to look at. Something, just a visual for it.
All right, so I think we covered.
Well, with terrain too now, and I will say, for those people that are going to go out there and try this, it's awesome to be in Michigan, because the way our turkey season lines up, and to where when our snow melts, if you're going to turkey hunt, the chances are you're going to be out there morel hunting, and you're going to be out there shed hunting, especially shed hunting. This is a good time to scout, right? Am I wrong?
Yeah.
As soon as this snow starts melting,
they're going to start moving in.
Yeah, we're going shed hunting Sunday.
Yeah. So
we'll know if there's turkeys.
Now you're going to be out there shed hunting, and you'll find turkey tracks. You'll probably even see turkey in the distance.
I mean, I've saw turkey every time I've hunted. Not every time. That's an exaggeration. But most days that I was out hunting,
they're roosting right there on the east side of your property.
Your property.
Yeah, I would almost always see turkeys.
So for what you're doing, okay, so if you're watching any of Scott's footage,
but that's in the fall, so
yeah, it doesn't matter. That's going to be the same, because what they're doing is that northeast corner where it's all hardwoods over there.
Yeah.
Where you saw Stan.
Yeah.
They're roosting in there.
They're in the south. That timber on the south east corner of my property too. They're down there too.
Yeah.
They're always right outside on that edge of that square of timber. It's heavy timber. It's where.
And so what they're doing on yours is they're coming out of those, like the time we were out there hunting, and we saw them come down. They came down from that northeast corner.
Yep.
They come down. They walk that field edge all the way across that little drainage ditch.
Yep.
And then they're going out to feed on that cut corn.
Yeah.
Obviously that's in the fall, but that's a good place to start.
All right, so I mean, is there anything else you guys could say about like where to find the turkeys and
the dust bowl thing? I'm just gonna hit on that.
Yeah.
Is they're almost always going to be there, relatively close to the same place year after year. So if you think you've seen it, don't be afraid to go back there.
So
and
it's
look
just
for
like
that.
a deer's.
No, it's kind of. Yeah,
it's not,
pretty much
same idea. It's not a scent thing, but it's a place that.
Yeah,
but it's
a lot
always
of times
it's in
gonna
the
be
same spot a lot.
Yeah, the fastest drying area, and they got loose sand somewhere. Like that food plot that we have that right by where Dad hunts, it's always the same line every year.
Really?
Multiple pieces of properties that I hunt.
So usually
that have
somewhere
the
they're
same
going to
spot.
go once the sun comes up and everything's dry again. That's where they're going to go hang out. So late morning, midday, that's where I go. Like when I go turkey hunting after my morning sit, now it's getting midday, I go to where I know they dust at.
Okay.
That's where I'm going to kill bird at.
All right. So, it's April 22nd is the opener, correct?
Yep.
And,
For the early season.
okay, for early season is April 22nd to what?
I'll go
May 5th.
May 5th.
May 5th, and then
May
when's
6th
the late?
through the 31st.
Okay.
Yep.
So,
I mean,
how does the tag system work? Explain that to me, because I don't know how that works.
So like it depends on where you're at in the state. The lower unit ZZ, which is what we all are going to hunt.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the lower zones for the majority of the birds that everybody I know, that's where we hunt at. So you put in for one or the other. You can put in for the draw. I've never done it. I'm not gonna lie. I'd recommend you don't do it because there's no point. There's so many tags.
So
There's always leftovers.
There's like 35,000 leftovers.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
wow.
they were giving away 75,000.
Yeah, there's not that many turkey hunters. So,
Yeah.
but you can put in for draw, whatever you want to do. Then you pick. Do you want to hunt? You have 2 weeks to hunt from April 22nd to May 5th, or you have basically the whole month to hunt.
Okay.
So that's how I tell everybody to pick. How much time do you have to hunt? So I always do the April season because
Okay.
I know my birds and I know where I'm going to go. And I'm
Okay.
pretty much going to go kill them. And I don't have the patience to wait.
Okay.
But like, if you got kids, it's warmer in May.
Yeah,
the birds,
right.
I think the birds are usually a little bit more vocal and aggressive, at least the first couple weeks of May before it gets super hot.
So if you're taking kids or your wife out, you would recommend applying for the late one,
I usually
or
tell them, unless they're
not applying but getting a late tag.
Yeah.
Okay.
My mom always gets a May season.
Okay.
She's got a little more time to hunt then.
It's warmer.
It's warmer. That's the
Okay.
biggest thing. It's warmer.
You're gonna get more mosquitoes.
I've had
but-
April hunts where there's snow on the ground. I've shot birds in the snow.
Okay.
So you got to kind of figure out what you want to do.
All right. So clothing wise, like, I guess it would coincide with my question on.
Coincide. That's a pretty good word.
You think so?
Yeah, that's.
I
sweet.
looked it up in the dictionary.
I like
or,
it.
That's a
what's
thesaurus.
thesaurus. Yeah, I looked up in the thesaurus last night. I was looking for cool words to use today. No, but I know a lot about deer and what they can see and smell and hear, and I don't know anything about turkey. So I guess what
Talk
should
about the anatomy and like what the turkey's strengths and weaknesses are.
Yeah, because we probably wear camo for no reason, and the deer probably it doesn't even matter. But because how many of you have had your grandpas and your dads shot deer in like Carhartts and
Yeah.
My dad only
Jack
used to,
Van Agen,
he used
Carhartt
to hunt.
master.
My dad used to hunt
the
a
red-
red and black flannel.
the red
everything.
black flannel, which you had to wear before
Wool.
back in the day. But what's their sight? What's their scent? What's their hear? What are you like?
Scent's not a factor.
Scent's not a factor. Okay, so you
Sight.
don't have to worry about your scent at all.
Sight.
Sight is your-
sight.
Sight.
It's movement.
Sight.
Movement.
So you can go out there smelling like a gym rat.
Yep.
Yes.
You're
So
fine.
a turkey,
I've killed
If
them in gym
turkeys
shorts.
if turkeys could smell like deer, you'd never kill them.
you would
Okay.
never, you'd never see him.
So,
You
sight-
don't
Never
would.
see him.
You'd
What
be
about
done.
hearing?
You
gotta
can
be
get
pretty
away.
quiet?
You can get away with talking in a low tone.
Okay.
Like if you listen to our,
I
look at our
probably can't
videos,
because I'm too
yeah,
high.
there's videos of us talking.
Pretty much, almost like this.
Yeah, pretty. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that when I was watching a couple of the other ones.
They get pretty focused on what they're doing. They hear tones. Like I think they hear like a sharp tone.
So
and they
that's
think about
what
stuff like
that's
that.
what there's something I read, right? It said that they can't hear
You
lower
can read?
turns. They've got
Wait. Let's
Oh,
cover
sure.
this.
I can read.
I heard that you had to have a person help you take the Detroit
My
Fire Department.
wife read to me something online that don't know if it's true or not,
They can't discriminate.
but it makes sense because they can't hear a lower tone. So like like a voice or a very
Right.
low tone as to where,
Makes
but they
sense.
can hear very
Okay,
very
so
high tone.
your biggest worry is sight.
The biggest worry is
Yeah.
sight,
So
for
camo
sure.
is a big thing.
Yes.
100%.
The camo,
Or
the glow
not-
of your face and the glow of your hands. They see that stuff. The glow of your gun.
And like we're probably all going to touch on, and I think we're all in agreement on this. It's not camo. It's camo is like a deer. You just want to break yourself up. A turkey, you want to blend in with your surroundings.
their
I
big
believe
thing
you want
is
to
Isn't
camo
that
yourself.
what camo is?
Yeah, but
essentially?
when you got to touch on this because it's not somebody's going to go
Touch
out
it.
there, okay, and sit in a. We'll touch on this in a minute, but a
Touch
camo,
it.
people's going to think that you are wearing camouflage.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily true, and we'll touch on.
Well,
that
I mean,
later.
it's a hunting and fishing podcast.
Right.
I mean, camo meaning like this, like
that wouldn't be a bad one, but
Like
like
real
the
tree.
waterfowl style camo, you're saying like that's too dark.
way.
Like,
If you're laying up
want
against a
green.
pine
you want
tree
green.
yeah,
with some random camo tones on,
they're
Okay.
gonna see you.
Okay.
yeah.
I mean, it's yeah, exactly. They didn't.
You just gotta know where you're sitting.
Don't
Just
move.
try to blend in with your surroundings as best you can. You'll be fine.
sight-
Just don't move, and you'll kill the turkey.
Now, are
That's
you
the
hunting
truth.
out of a pop-up blind? Or are you hunting out just sitting on the ground?
My general, I think this is where we kind of differ. So if I bow hunt a lot for turkeys, so if I'm bow hunting or I'm taking somebody new, or somebody I just know moves a lot, if somebody's gonna move or you have to move, I start my mornings off in a pop-up, a cheap $30 pop-up, and you can put it. This is important. You can put it
Especially with kids.
anywhere. You do not have to blend it in. You can slap this thing brand new in the middle of a cornfield, and they don't care.
Really?
They don't care.
Pop-up line.
They will. I've had them rub up against it.
They're not deer.
They're not deer. That's something they don't seem to see. I don't know why.
Oh, interesting.
And we're black inside that blind, and you
Right.
can jump.
And that's what I'm
jack.
talking.
Again,
Why are we
blending
wearing
in.
black? Because
Blending
you're blending in with this. You're using the shadows of the pop-up line when the
Are you getting
window's
pretty
open.
fancy with your face paint too?
I wear something like this sometimes,
Okay.
but camo.
or black or
black.
Or if I'm in a blind, it's black.
I use face paint just because.
Do you get fancy with it?
Oh, of course you have.
You don't just smear it on your
No,
face?
you got to. Look at my turkey picture from last year.
He's always
Yeah.
got these like cool football stripes.
How long does it take to get ready in the morning?
You know, I'm quick. That's normally a driving thing. I'm like the
How
woman that you see
come
on the
how
freeway.
come men are quicker? How come men can put their makeup on quicker than women can?
Because we're not trying to look pretty.
Oh, you are. You got to make it perfect.
It's naturally pretty, right?
Yeah, that's true. It's the contours of our face, I think.
We don't have to
All right.
have as much from beards.
So we got
With the blinds, a lot of people's mistake is just because you have a blind doesn't mean you have to open up every window.
Right,
And if
yeah.
you're, just because you're wearing
Exactly.
black doesn't mean you're
Yes.
going to blend
so
in.
that
If you have
goes
windows behind
same
you,
with deer. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
You don't want
They're
a lot
gonna
of
see
light.
you moving. Yeah.
You don't want a lot of light
Silhouette.
in
If you
there.
got a side-to-side window on open and they're from your side, they're gonna pick your silhouette off.
Yep.
Shut them
Yeah.
windows. Have your front window open. Shoot in your face right there.
I mean, if you got a big hub style like we are in the shanty, keep the front 3 windows open if you want.
Right,
You and just
right.
peek out the other.
Or
ones.
you get one of
Yeah,
those
just have enough to see out the other
see-through.
ones.
Yeah, those
Those things are
crazy.
sweet.
Yeah, spend a ton of
They're
money.
expensive.
I guess
Yeah.
my blinds are
So-
probably $30.
Yeah.
In the mornings, what I like to do is I like to actually camo myself up without a blind. I usually brush myself in the morning, and usually it's just me. If it's just me, I'm just gonna brush myself in, camo myself really good. I mean, I'll lay cedar sticks on top of me, and I'll lay down if I'm hunting with a gun.
And that sun really brightens up.
And I will put everything right out in front of me. And my gun will already be in shooting position, so I have minimal movements. I use a mouth call, so I don't have to move anything. I will sit behind that gun for 4 hours until, and then in the daytime, then, if I hear some responses or whatever, then I'll start actually running and gunning a little bit.
All right, so
Brings you to the next
I get
thing,
out to my
probably.
property. I kind of have a general idea where they're roosting because this is morning. We're going to talk about morning first. I get out there. I got a general idea where they roost. How far away am I setting up from where they roost?
Now, you're going to get a bunch of opinions on this.
Okay.
Totally opinionated.
Okay.
Me, my goal, if I know the bird's roosting there, I get there plenty early enough so he's not going to see me moving in there.
Yeah,
I
use
want to
darkness.
get right within 80 to 100 yards.
You
of that
split in the
bird.
hole?
80 to 100 yards.
Yeah.
That
Or
would have
I'm-
been an interesting
I say that
podcast.
it's kind of a situational thing. If I know he's going to fly down somewhere, I'll get there. If I can get to where he's going to put his feet on the ground, I'm going to do that. If I don't know where he flies down, I'm 80 to 100 yards where I think he's going to come to.
Because when they fly down out of the roost, they fly in pretty far.
They will. I've seen them just basically fall out of the tree, and that's where they go. And I've seen them fly down to somewhere else where they want to go and feel safe.
And again, that's all scouting.
All right. So you're scouting. You want to see where they're going.
Just like
Yeah.
waterfowl.
Because they
Don't doubt
typically
scout.
come out of the
Don't
same.
doubt the scout.
When they fly out of their roost, they go to the same area.
Generally. Yeah.
Well, I would
Something
admit.
could spook them and make them go a different
I would
way,
say
but-
during gun or bow season, I saw the turkeys that I saw every time I saw them. They went the exact same.
That's
They came from and went the same place.
usually somewhere they know they can fly. They can see that spot that they're flying into, and they feel good. When
I
they
never
hit the
see them
ground.
fly down. They always just walked out of the woods.
So they're flying down into the woods.
In the woods.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll set myself up. I'm not really necessarily gauging where I'm setting up in the mornings based off of the roost. I mean, I am, but I'm not really too concerned with how close I am to the roost as to what path I'm on, because I know, right, like you said, you scout it. I know where they're headed. I'm just wanting to cut them off to their food source, because that's where in my property during the springtime, they're going to fly out of the roost and go right to the food source. A lot of these, and like you said, you're going to get differing opinions because sometimes they fly down and hang out at the bottom of the roost till they got their whole flock with them, and then they'll move.
There's a lot of old timers that will not go turkey hunting till 9 o'clock in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to kill a bird right off the roost because he's already got his girlfriends with him usually, so he's going to go breed those hens and then come to you. So there's a lot of guys that'll wait till they're basically going to that food source or on it, and then they go shoot them there.
Yep.
So I like going in the mornings because I love to hear it.
It's something
Yeah,
to
if you're
be.
taking somebody new, for sure.
Go in the morning, hear the gobbles.
I've also seen, like I'll set my decoys up because once you see it, you've got to see these things go up into the roost. It's amazing because what the hens are going to be the first one to go up, and then the rooster is going to be the last one to kind of policing them all.
Did you call him a rooster?
You did.
You
A
did call him
rooster. I did
rooster.
call it a rooster. These toms will hang out on the bottom.
Or Jake.
I'm saying,
Don't
or
discriminate.
Jake. Okay, little babe. The males, Toms and Jakes, they'll be the last ones to go up, but they're generally the first ones to come down. And so they roost over a
Did you just
huge
fart?
area.
No, I was definitely the chair.
Oh,
I
are you
would've
sure?
owned it. I would've
We
owned it.
fart on our podcast.
I mean, I would've owned it.
It
I
happens
farted
sometimes.
on the podcast.
It does. It happens sometimes.
I would've been honest with you. It's just a chair.
But I've seen these things. They roost in such a big area, and like Niko was saying, they're really not generally worried about losing hens or anything like that right out of the roost. But if you set up a decoy far enough away, and you start clucking at it, then that tom's going to come over and try to round him back up into the flock. So that's kind of what I'm looking for in a morning hunt.
So you set up 80 to 100 yards, in your opinion, and then you get your decoy out, right?
Yep.
Now, when do you start calling? When does that happen?
I wait till I hear them call first.
So once you start hearing them calling, then you start calling.
As soon as I hear somebody make a noise,
Now explain the calling
Start talking.
process. You're calling as a hen?
and man, when I'm doing my morning calls, I'm trying to sound like a lonely hen. That I want him to, kind of like John said, come. Toms will try to get a group of hens together, try to breed them all, and then when they go to nest, he goes to the next hens. He goes try to find some.
Okay.
So in the morning, I want him to come check out my hen. So
Okay.
I try to sound like a lonely hen. Now with that lonely hen decoy I usually have a strutting tom decoy behind it.
Like a half strut.
Half strut
Full
or strut. Yeah, I have some sort of male turkey tom with it, and then hopefully he gets pissed off when he sees it and wants to fight.
Do you know what a strut is?
Oh,
Struts when they get all poofy and they get their heads all and they change colors.
push
They
their
look like
push their
badasses.
fan out and
Yeah, the
everything.
fan comes
Okay.
up. And they look sweet.
Kind of
That's
pretty
strut.
much
That's
like
pretty sweet.
it's like when your wife. It's just opposite when your wife gets all pissed off at you, and then she tries to. That's what they're doing. They're just getting pissed off and they're trying to intimidate this hen and push
It's
them
funny.
towards
It's
the
a
flock.
funny way to
That's
compare
what
it.
mine
This
does
thing
that
is
all
a
the
really
time.
funny thing to
It's
compare to.
I know because she's really mad at me right now.
They're showing off their stuff.
Peacocking.
All right.
Gotta let them fly.
So, I feel right now. I feel like I'm an expert on turkey hunting.
Pretty much. So you've got the morning part. You try to get them off the roost. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. It's probably 50%. 50-50. I don't know. It does or doesn't. So then they're going to go to food. They're going to start strutting around. He's going to breed them hens. So you got to try to either cut him off or somehow stay close enough to piss him off. Or, I think we all do this a lot, is try to mimic the hens that he's with if they're talking and get her to come to you. If you basically playing a copycat and mimic her all day, she'll eventually get pissed. She's going to show up.
Yeah.
I kill a lot of birds that way by getting the hen to come to me. And homeboy's going to follow up and shoot him in the face.
And you can use. There is male calls. You can gobble at birds.
Yep.
And you can
So,
do all
if you get a real
that.
dominant bird and you gobble at him, he could come
You
running.
can make fighting purr calls and everything. And
No, that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to get. It's a similar. Sounds like it's the same as deer hunting.
It is.
Not same as deer hunting, but the calling.
Well, it's their breeding season, so you have two things you want to do. You're either trying to make him get horny and come to his hen, or you're trying to get him pissed off and come fight your tom decoy or your male decoy. So, that's exactly what you're doing. He's either trying to come have sex with it or kill it. One of those two.
it's true.
And they might try to do both. I've seen them all over the decoys
Yep.
trying to do both.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Trying to fight your half strut and then mount your.
All right, so that's the morning. So you typically. So all right, so now you hunt till, let's say, a lot of guys go out deer hunting in the morning and they're done by like 10, 11 o'clock, if they get one or
Yeah.
not, whatever. But what's your how does turkey hunting work? You go out in the morning, you get out there early before the sun comes up.
Yeah. My favorite time to hunt turkey is between 10 and 2. So I'm not
10 and
leaving.
2, so you'll stay out there all day.
Yep. Because
Okay.
they hunt you go out there.
Or
hunt
do
in
you
the
ever
morning.
get out there late or?
Plenty of times.
Okay.
So I'll get out there. If I hunt the morning, we don't kill anything. Well, now he's starting to breed those hens and get rid of them. So now he's going to get lonely, and he's going to come try to find a hen.
Okay.
So you try to find a bird, locate a bird, be near where you know birds are going to be.
Now you're getting up and moving around.
I usually do. I've got the property to do it, though. If you're on one piece of property, but you know birds work through, you don't have to move. Just have your decoy set up in an area you think they're going to come cruising through, like John was saying, and call every 15 to 30 minutes.
Okay.
Don't call nonstop. Don't overcall these turkeys, especially on the roost. Should have mentioned that. Do not overcall birds on the roost. Just because he's gobbling doesn't mean you have to keep calling.
Doesn't mean
He
gobbling
knows
at
you're
you.
there.
No.
Yep.
Chances are he's gobbling at all of his flock that he's already got up in the roost.
Call every 15 to 30 minutes, depending on what's going on.
And that's where I'm different. I don't call until they're on the ground. But it's just everybody's opinion.
Yeah. I like to call on their trail, want them to know I'm here a little bit. But calling on the ground makes total sense, too. It does no right or wrong to it. Everybody's got their own way.
Exactly. A little niche.
And we both kill a lot of turkeys.
So you like killing them 10 to 2. Now, what about in the evening?
Evenings, in my opinion, that's the hardest time to kill a turkey.
Okay.
Especially with legal.
Yeah, to do it legally is the hardest time.
So these turkeys aren't showing themselves to like.
Well, I mean, it's not that they don't show themselves.
So you
but
can
it
go
depends
sit
on where
under
you
that
can
roosting
hunt.
tree
Yeah.
and shoot them as they go flying up into the tree. It'd be really easy then.
But it's also most likely going to be a half hour after your legal limit.
Yeah. So you got to stop turkey hunting a half hour before sunset.
And you're not allowed to shoot them in the tree, right?
No. No, it doesn't matter what time of day it is. If it's in a tree, you can't shoot it.
Right.
You can shoot them out while they're flying, as long as it's within legal shooting hours.
Which is weird. Why? Why is that?
Why can't you shoot them out of a tree?
Yeah.
That's just to keep people from shooting them during.
If you could shoot them during a tree, I would walk out to the tree and pitch black, and as soon as that legal shooting time is out, I'd blast them out of the tree.
It'd be
the easiest thing.
That's the whole point behind it. Is,
Okay.
And most of the time it's going to be dark, so
It
you
just
can't
make
really
it-
tell
it
what
would
you're
just make
shooting,
it
and then
too
you're going to
easy.
start shooting hens.
Yeah. Right.
But evening, you basically they're going to be in the food, and then they're going to go work their way.
Now,
to the
springtime, you can only shoot a male, correct?
Correct.
Well, a
Jake's-
bearded bird doesn't have to be a male. It has to have a beard.
Yep,
Okay,
shot-
'cause
shot
there are
hens,
bearded
bearded
hens.
Yep.
That's interesting.
Which is kind of cool. I wish
They're
I
always
mounted
fun.
the one I shot.
We've shot quite a few.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're always more aggressive.
Yeah, well, I mean, you guys are the turkey experts. I don't even know what else to ask. So we covered the where.
A lot of guys, I know a lot of guys, there's like two things that people have differing opinions about is how to call and when to call. That's like when people, what makes a good turkey hunter maybe from a bad hunter, and what decoys to use. There's some guys that go out there with a stick and a fan or like a shooting scoop, and they shoot as many birds as somebody that goes out there that has a Jake and a half strut.
Yeah.
They use 2 males, or people that just have a whole volley essentially of hens sitting out there. I mean,
Or no decoys at all.
Or no decoys at all.
Plenty. My dad
Like,
uses no decoys.
For
plenty of times.
3 years, I didn't use a single decoy.
They probably kill turkeys.
I still killed turkeys.
Yeah. I use 3D. Pretty much almost every time I hunt, I use the same decoy setup. I use a hen that's breeding position, so she's laying down. Hens, when they get raped, they lay down, and then I put a strutting tom behind it a few feet, like it's getting ready to mount her.
Okay.
And then I have a feeding hen off to the side of that. That's my typical morning when I go out there. That's my first decoy setup.
Now, if I wanted to go out and buy these turkey decoys, what's an entry level kind of? You don't have to say any brand names or anything because they're not giving us any money. Yeah.
Well, I'll lay brand names out there.
Yeah.
I use the Primos decoys
All right.
because to me they're the best looking for the cost.
All right, Primos.
They got these blow up ones. That's not Primos. I don't know the brand. I hate them to death. But people kill birds over them. And then you've got Avians and DSDs, which are awesome.
DSD is
Now, what's the
Smith
cost? What
decoy
does that
company.
stuff
Smith
cost?
doesn't know
The
that.
the high end ones can be 100. It was like 180 for the DSD
For one?
strutter.
180 for a hen.
For
the
one?
hen, yeah. For the family pack, which is 2 hens and a tom, right?
Yeah, it's
It's like $490.
Wow.
And then
but they
Avians
look
are
like a legit turkey.
Yeah, they're
I
pretty-
think.
Right.
I mean, they're
Now, what's
they've got like
more
feathering
affordable?
on them and everything.
the one like I bought last year. I bought a half strut Jake with a hen, and I think it was like a $40 package.
Yep.
And they look
that's
pretty
not
good.
bad at all.
And that's the Primos. You can go even cheaper. H&S Strut. They have a lot of cheap
They got
decoys.
a big thing too. You can buy a decoy. Like I have 2 hen decoys that I bought last year that are good decoys or bodies, but their heads to me are off color. I don't like
And
the
you
color
can
head,
paint them,
so I
yeah.
just paint them.
Yep.
Oh, really?
That's
Yeah.
a big thing. Is
We painted both the tom decoys, or all the tom decoys we have. We've repainted their heads, repainted their heads.
That's one thing you could talk about.
Slap a
is
tail fan
head
on
color.
them.
Head color.
Yeah, explain that to me. Why don't you like the head color of these decoys?
Just from my opinion, their heads, so turkeys' heads, especially when they strut, they change color.
Males.
Males, yes. When they're in strut or when they're coming in, you'll notice when they come in and out of strut, they change colors a lot.
Really?
Yeah, they go from red, whites, and blues. They're very American.
That's why they call them jelly heads.
Yes. So when we bought the decoys, they were all pretty much red, right?
Yep, and a lot of times red is fight. Red is an angry thing.
Okay.
And you have your white, which is a passive
Like
aggressive.
their skin
or
literally
more
changes color?
Yes.
Yeah. They're like
no kidding.
chameleons.
You
They're
can watch
controlling their blood flow.
Oh, okay.
That's what all that stuff is. It's called,
What,
they're called
what is that
caruncles.
called? Yeah.
They're called caruncles, and
The things that look
then
like
the
balls
thing on the top
neck?
is a snood, and the snood is actually what is controlling all. Is you can see it. If you can watch their snood, you'll be able to tell a lot about their posture. A short snood normally means timid or like scared of any sort, and a
No
long
kidding.
snood is relaxed. They're good, and there's a lot of different colors by a
Hunter
Okay.
raised turkeys for a few years.
Oh, did you?
grand champion turkey at the fair. So I watched that.
Whoa, 4-H smoke.
But yeah, so that's when you're hunting a lot when you're working a bird, you see a tom, it doesn't matter if it's 20 yards away or 200 yards away. If you can see their head color, watch it. A lot of times they'll change, they can
Go over the
look at
head
you and
colors
they'll
again?
change.
See, and I don't know if there's a science to it. That's why I'm kind of stuttering over it. Or I don't know the science to it. So you said red. You think red is
Red, well, they say
angry.
red is aggressive, but certain tones are red.
Because when I see birds get ready to leave, like you get a bird coming in strut, he picks something is wrong, his head turns to red.
But like a pinkish red.
Yeah,
instead of the dark
They're
red.
different, right?
Yeah.
And that's the color that our
nervous.
decoys were when we
Yeah.
bought them. They were like a light red.
Yep, they
And
don't
I didn't
look,
like it.
yeah.
Now they're white with a blue back. The
And
back
that's-
of their head is blue.
yeah.
The front of their head is white.
And they say that's the sexual. That's like the.
That's getting ready to breed.
That's the excited
no
horny
kidding.
phase. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the.
And the only reason we have you study the film, so you can watch our videos and see the colors of their heads
Mhm.
and make your own judgment
A
on
lot
what
of
you think
times,
they're doing. Because we've killed birds with every color head. I mean,
Yeah.
they come in with different moods all the time.
There's a
And you can
decoy
watch them
out
change.
right now that's who makes that? It's called Jekyll and Hyde decoy.
The avian one?
No, it's not avian. I can't remember who makes the Jekyll and Hyde decoy. I don't know. It's called Jekyll and Hyde. And one side's the aggressive side, one side's the passive aggressive, horny
Oh, yeah.
side. And it's the same exact. It's one decoy, but it's got two different faces on it, and it's strutting with one fan in the middle of it. It looks goofy, but I mean, obviously they're going to show videos of it working. But
You can kill turkeys with
just a fan,
piece of
yeah.
paper.
Well, sure. I've seen videos of people calling like car alarms and turkeys gobbling at
those-
honking horns of vehicles and stuff.
That's a shock gobble.
Slam a door. Yeah, shot gobble is a big thing. So if you go looking for birds midday and maybe you feel like you're too close, so you don't want to give a call, or you're not ready, or you just want to shot gobble them, you can yell. I've yelled and got them to do it.
Okay.
Crow call. That's why I see people crow call at turkeys a lot.
Peacock call is a good one.
Yep. Dogs bark and get them to gobble.
Yeah.
I mean, any loud noise.
No
A
kidding.
lot of times you shoot and they'll gobble. Like all the
Really?
birds that are around gobble at it. There's a video of him shooting a bird and the other one's gobble as soon as the gun goes off. I don't know why they do it. Turkeys are weird, man.
It must go along with what the tones that they
Yeah.
hear.
I know how to kill them, but I don't know the science with them.
They're cool.
What now
It's too deep for me
obviously you can shoot them with a bow.
Yes.
Now are you using any specific type of broadhead?
I do.
Okay.
I use the biggest cut mechanical that
So
I
you're
don't think is going to pass through.
They don't make specific turkey broadheads?
They do.
They do.
Okay.
They
definitely do.
They make, and I've never used them because I just feel like they would fly out of my bow. Weird. But they make a guillotine, which is like a 3.5 inch cutting diameter. It's actually really just supposed to chop their head right off.
Yeah.
Oh, no kidding. Now, is that does that change? I mean, I have my bow set up for deer hunting and I shoot 100.
I've never shot them, but I would assume it shoots.
Yeah, it's got to be weird. It's
Are they
gotta
the
be
same weight?
They say you
They're
can
not
do
the
an
same
arrow.
weight.
Yeah, no, they got the same weight.
I would.
It's like 100 grain or 100.
I would have to have a
grain.
longer arrow. I couldn't shoot my same length arrow because my broadhead comes over my riser, so it wouldn't work for me.
I think so.
But I shoot the Rage Extreme, the yellow ones.
Okay.
They're-
So you're using your same arrows as you deer hunt with, you just change the broadheads
Yeah,
up?
I just slap a Rage Extreme on there. The reason I use the Rage Extreme is because it usually doesn't pass through my turkey.
Now,
and
with
I
the
want the arrow
bow,
to stay in there.
with the bow, are you shooting them in the head or are you shooting them?
I haven't yet shot one in the head. Every year I say I'm going to, and then I end up not. I take the leg, and go straight up to the leg, and then where the beard comes in, that's my spot. It's basically center mass.
That's the
Also, you
easiest
can see
spot.
where the strut. You can see where
We
the
got
wing kind
a
of curves.
picture of it on our Facebook.
So
We'll put it
essentially,
on
where the tip
podcast
of the
if you're
meaty part of the
watching.
drumstick is intersects with their beard. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So right, just in front of that a little
That's
bit.
in strut.
Yeah.
Because when they're not in strut, everything changes.
Well, the beard and the leg thing is always. That's your
Yeah.
always go-to. That's your
Right.
easiest.
Yeah.
The wing
Yeah.
fold is going to be different
Yeah.
on strut and non.
Now-
The biggest thing with that, to why you shoot them there, because if you look at a picture, I'm like we posted one the other day.
Yeah, go onto our
That's not-
Instagram.
That's not where
You'll
I shoot
find it.
turkeys.
We'll post it on. Oh, it isn't?
It's not. That's not where I aim. It's high. That picture is higher than I aim.
Okay.
Here's
Yeah,
how I
it
put
was
there
pretty
is,
high up.
If you shoot high, you're dead 12 ring, right? If you shoot a little bit low, you break his legs and they can't fly away if you break a turkey. If a turkey has a broken leg, you can't fly.
Okay.
If you're faster than a turkey with a broken leg, you can catch it. If you shoot a little bit
Take a minute.
forward, just like, if you shoot a little bit forward, you'll kill it, and a little bit back, you'll kill it.
Okay.
So that's like a good.
That's
you have
enough,
room
yeah.
for error in that spot because the turkey's kill zone. If you try to hit that spot, it's only a softball.
Oh, really?
It's small.
That's another
And when
thing
they're
about
in
the
full
big legs.
strut, they look huge, but their body is only the size of a basketball, basically.
Yeah, pretty
Like
much.
you know,
So, do you want to get a shot straight on breast,
you can take if it's straight on breast. I basically go right where his beard is, and I try to not cut his beard off.
right in the middle?
Right? Yeah, just miss his beard. a
And
little
then,
bit. If he's
what
dead
about
away,
broadside?
broadside is that leg to beard. If he's dead away and in strut, you shove it right up his ass.
Really?
Yeah, Texas hard shot him
That's what you.
All
all
day.
day.
try
If
to
he's
go
in
right
full
there.
strut and
Texas
looking at
hard
me,
shot, I
and in
like
my
that.
decoys, I'm shooting him in the face.
I
but I
mean,
haven't had it
yeah,
happen
for
yet.
sure.
Basically, shoot him right in
But
the
on,
crumples.
if he's dead,
Caruncles.
if he's strutting, looking right at you, you're not going to go wrong by just picking the center of his whole silhouette, body wise, and
Yeah.
hitting it right in the center.
And the biggest thing is people do with the bow is when you see them in full strut, you think there's way more body than what there actually
Yeah.
is. So you're just going to end up feathering them or just hitting straight meat.
Yeah, if you hit their big breast, which that takes up the majority of their body, is that big chunk of the breast meat in the front with all the feathers that roll off of it, you'll never kill it.
What-
It'll look like you smoke it, but you won't kill
You
it.
actually,
What's the best? What is the absolute like deer hunting? You got your quartering away, broadside. What is your best?
tree stand?
I don't think it matters.
It doesn't matter.
I don't think so. I mean, you can shoot a turkey at any angle
Yeah.
because you have no problem penetrating. There's nothing
center
you can
punching
hit.
it.
Now, can you
With a
shoot?
big
If I
rod.
get to pick, if I was to go place the bird out there to shoot it, I'm putting a broadside.
Or you can shoot
Yeah.
a turkey
Yeah,
out of
I'm
a
putting
tree.
it right, I'm
with
putting
a
it
bow?
facing right at me.
Yeah.
You
What's
can shoot
that?
a turkey out of a tree with a bow.
No.
No.
You can't hunt from
Not in
any,
spring.
any
In the
elevated.
fall, you
not
can.
in spring.
No elevation.
Any
No
elevated
elevation,
blind
no.
you can't.
In
Not
the
In
fall,
the
you
spring.
can.
Not in the state of Michigan.
In the
Different
fall, you
states.
can though.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, can you shoot a turkey with a gun in the fall out of a tree?
I
No.
don't think
No.
so.
Only
you can't.
bow.
No, it's out of season.
Only
That's
no.
true. It's
No.
in season.
Oh yeah.
But
Duh.
it ends on November 14th.
Yeah, it's just
Good thing
bow.
Shadow's here.
Yeah, no kidding. I didn't even think about that. All right, so bow. What about gun? I got a 20 gauge Remington
face.
870 Express
Yeah.
with a bird barrel on it. Is that sufficient? Can I take
Yes.
that gun out right now and just go shoot a
Sure
turkey?
can. Just
I don't
gotta
need to buy a
paper
choke
shoot
or
it.
anything like that.
If you have a gun and it's my grandpa's shotgun. I want to shoot a bird with it. Take a piece of paper out and shoot it and see how your pattern is, so you know how far you can shoot.
And if
Oh,
it's,
okay.
yeah, exactly. See how far you can shoot. I mean, you use some of those guys use those, turkey chokes if you got those. But even if just a full choke, that's all a turkey choke really is. An extended full choke. Throw a full choke in there and start stepping that out. Different ammo is going to do different stuff out of your gun, obviously. So if it's not shooting the way, try a different ammo.
What do you guys like shooting?
What do you shoot, John?
Long beard XR.
I shoot 3.5 inch long beard XR 5-shot with a pattern master
20 gauge or 12?
12 gauge.
Okay.
I've stepped it off. I've filmed birds get shot at 62 yards.
With that?
I say that I was using those just the Winchester or the Super X 5-shot 3.5 inch.
Yeah.
It's a turkey load.
I have
It's
shot.
a Winchester Super X turkey load.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I shot the
But
XRs
I'm gonna shoot
compared
the
to a
XRs
few
this
other
year.
ones, and it's mind blowing watching it on paper, man.
No
They are.
kidding.
Yeah, the XRs are good.
I think they're hands down.
I think all the XR, all that footage that you guys have.
Most of it's
Most
XRs.
of it,
Most
yeah.
of it's
That
XR.
or
So that's what you should
the Remington something. There was older Remington ones. I mean, I've had
Everybody used to shoot the nitros at one point
Remington
because they were
nitro,
cheap. But
yeah.
I shot those. I had paper against XRs and I threw them all away.
Did
Yeah.
you guys have those the pattern master chokes, right? You
Yeah.
both have them.
I do. You
You
do
have-
too.
yeah, I
My
have
dad
the-
has a Mossberg. He can't shoot a pattern master, but he's got something
Yeah,
other
yeah.
extended choke on it. We all
Turkey
shoot
choke.
extended chokes.
Extended
Buy
choke.
turkey. If you're gonna do it, you're like, I really want to do this right. There's a pike right underneath our heater coming in right now.
Yep.
Oh, he gone.
He be back. He be back.
So if I forgot what I was saying. I got distracted by a pike.
If you're gonna do it,
if you're
go
gonna
out
do it,
and
yeah.
spend the money and buy a choke.
Buy a
But
turkey
the
choke.
pattern master ones, was that $100?
Probably $100.
You can get them. I have the Pattern Master Anaconda. It's the mine's the extended mid range actually.
Yeah.
And that one's 60 to 80, I believe. What did you take off?
Yeah, it took off.
He went down here. He'll be back.
Yeah, so, I mean, they don't always go expensive. I mean, you don't have to get Pattern Master. There's Jebs, there's Kicks, there's Carlson's. I mean, there's all sorts of different
Those are
companies.
all good.
Those
I've
are
shot all of them.
all
They're all good.
different companies that make extended chokes. You don't need extended chokes. I mean, some people just use straight modified, but
So,
extended
yes.
choke, you're going to get more
We've killed 'em.
BBs on.
So if I don't want to spend more money right now, I just want to go shoot a turkey. I'm good with what I got.
Yep.
Just
12
step it
or
up
20.
and shoot it. Yep. Just shoot it at paper so you
Make
know
sure
how it
you-
patterns. Put a dot out there and see how many BBs you have.
But to
Turkey
make
size
yourself more efficient,
yeah, if you want
a
to
choke
have your
is,
best chance of
extended
killing a
choke.
turkey, I mean, I'm not afraid to shoot a bird at 60 yards
okay.
with my gun.
And then
at
you got
all.
guys that won't even shoot a turkey under 20.
All right. So now
Or over
distance
20.
with your, I mean, obviously with a bow, it's whatever you're comfortable
Right
with
there.
your bow. Here. Oh shit. He's so far away from me.
Switch.
He'll be back. He'll be back. He's so far away from me. Damn.
Try to come in when you're coming in. Take an intermission. When you come in, try to come in on top of him
Yeah.
rather than at an angle because
Okay.
they're looking like this. If you're coming in on top of him, kind of behind his head,
Okay.
he's not going to see that
Got
spear.
it. Got it.
You got adrenaline, you can hear its voice.
This is awesome. All right. So what are we talking about? Turkeys?
Chokes.
He'll be back. He'll be back.
Yeah, just shoot a choke. If you don't want to shoot a choke, then just let your gun.
What's a choke? What does a choke cost typically?
Anywhere from $60 to $100.
$60 to
$40 to
$100.
$100.
40. Yeah, you can
Yeah.
get 40.
$40 to $100.
You don't, like I said, you don't have to. I cheat. I really don't need to. I put my decoys on. I'm shooting with a gun at like 12 yards.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and
When I shoot with, that's the other thing. When we're bow hunting birds, I think we all do this. I put my decoys at 5 to 7 steps.
Absolutely.
I shot my bird
I want
last
it to be
year.
as
Close
close
as you
Yeah.
can.
When you say steps, you mean like actual like just
Steps,
footsteps?
Steps.
normal walking
Okay.
steps.
Like,
I mean, it's
I've had
from-
birds rub my blind. They're so close.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Why do you want them so close?
It's a lot easier to hit them at 5
Man,
yards
it's
than
way-
20.
You're talking with your bow?
You're
You're hunting with your bow?
Even
Now-
my gun. My gun's at 12 yards. So if turkeys will hold up a lot. They're pretty smart. So they get out there and they kind of get cautious. Well, if he holds up 30 yards from your decoys, and your decoy's already at 20, 30 yards, it's a poke. My decoy's only at 10 yards, it's game over. Same with a bow. If he wants to hold up on me, my decoy's at 5 yards, and he holds up 30 yards away. I'm killing him at 35. It's no big deal.
Okay.
I think I shot my turkey last year at 4 steps, 4 feet probably actually.
Nice. So with a gun, you're shooting them in the head.
Yep, I do the same thing. I take the bead of my gun, and I put it right at the base of his head. So this is his head.
A lot of,
Bang.
I think the easiest thing to do to tell people, so in case they don't, left or right miss a little bit or up and down, if like, trigger pull, if they're new, then they're kind of scared of it or they don't exactly know exactly where to shoot, is where the feathers meet, the skin and meat on the turkey.
That's a safe bet.
Yeah.
The feather, because then if you go down a little bit, you're going to hit body and his throat's still there, his spine's still there.
Yep, that's
I mean,
a real safe bet for sure.
And if you hit up a little bit, you're hitting them square in the dome. That's you're going to have a lot of pellets on target. You might get some, now you might have to pick away through some meat, but
Yep, yeah, if somebody knew, that's a good place to do it.
Yep.
And with a gun, too, you're safer to have them pick their head up before you pull the trigger.
Yeah.
Because they come in if they're strutting, your target is, a baseball.
Yep.
But if you can get him to pick his head up, you've got, I guess,
God,
like,
that decoy scared the shit. I
it's
thought
like
it was
16 inches. So to get him to pick their head up, I always
I'm
tell
all
the guys,
fired up.
tell me when you're ready, and I'll pick his head up. And you just call real hard and aggressive. If you give him a couple soft ones, if he doesn't, you get on him. So if he's coming in, you want to pick his head up.
these people are going to be like, what in the world?
And then he'll
that
do one of-
spark will get him to lift
essentially
his
like
head up.
like a dog would, and I think that's a very common. You call it a shooting cluck or a shooting hackle,
Mark Hackle?
a shooting cackle, and that's what.
Cackle?
And a lot of,
You guys don't know what
I will
that
say
is.
all of our footage that you're gonna see, I would have to imagine if somebody's behind a gun or something like that and they're shooting something, you're gonna hear that
Yeah, you hear it.
as they're shooting.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go on the YouTube video right now and look at them because
Sometimes
they'll
you get some stubborn birds that'll gobble at it. You gotta wait a little bit, but
Yeah.
they'll pick their heads up eventually, and then shoot 'em.
Yeah.
So we did decoys. Might as well go over calls.
Yeah, let's talk about our calls too.
Calls are important.
First of all,
Let's
what
talk.
we're gonna
First
do,
of all, let's talk
first of all,
about.
we gotta go ahead and thank.
Give a good plug to.
Give a good plug to Bully's Game Calls.
Bullies.
There, he hooked us up with these cool slate calls. It's actually glass on the one side, and a
It's
slate on the other.
Hookbuster 3, glass over slate.
Why does it make me so
Say
nervous
that
when
again,
you hold
say that
stuff
again.
over the hole?
Hookbuster 3. 3.
But this is a good sounding call. There's a lot of crappy calls out there. be quite honest with you.
Yeah,
And I'm not just saying that because we're hooked up with this guy, but the only reason that we're hooked up with this guy is because his calls sound good. You know, we're not going to go hook up with.
Yeah, I
some of
bought
these.
his calls before I
Yeah,
before
exactly.
we did this. We all like that's a paid. That call ain't free.
No, this is sweet.
That was a $40 call.
So you got this.
So it's got glass on the one side, which is kind of cool. It's pretty unique.
Where's Bullies out of, real quick?
It's on the west side, Grand Rapids.
All right, is it? All
Muskegon.
right, cool.
Muskegon, that's it. Yeah.
Before you go do that, you got to explain what to do to prep the glass.
So you take sandpaper, which he gives in
It will
there.
come with
Did
it.
it come in it? Yeah, it did. And you give it a quick. You don't got to bury it in there, but you just want to rough up that surface. And this is a striker, and they make different ones, and they all kind of sound their own little way. But this is a striker he sends with it. You got to keep them dry. If they're wet, they don't work. And you kind of put it on an angle, hold it like a pencil, put it on an angle, and I do half moons usually. And as you move it around, it sounds different in different spots. And then you can just drag it across real slow. You get purrs. You can pop it real quick for some clucks. They're real simple to use. Little half moons, little movements, and that's it. And then you got slate on the back, which again, you got to rough it up real quick. Hit it with some sandpaper. It's the same thing, just a different sound.
It's like more of a little bit deeper tone, maybe a little bit quieter.
Slate is easier to use than glass.
Yes.
Slate's the easiest to use. He's also got some copper ones.
You got an aluminum one. The aluminum face one that he had.
You can slam on these things too. You can really.
Yep.
The glass is louder on these ones.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The glass is really loud.
You can sound that off forever. So yeah, I like these a lot. So when I'm in a blind in the mornings you're talking about, and my hands are free, I always use slate because they're the easiest for me. I can't purr and stuff like I can. With my mouth call.
And that's what I was just gonna say. I've never. I know how to use them, but I've never used a slate call because I don't know. I haven't.
You gotta practice them a little bit.
You gotta practice with them, but it's so much easier to purr with those than it is with a mouth call.
Yeah.
And so some of those competition mouth callers are like
they're
they can do it
crazy,
all.
man.
There's kids that can do it just by
When they go like this.
even
So
like
weird.
Flags though.
even like Hunter.
Get it.
Yeah. Yeah. I can. Yeah. I hardly ever use an actual diaphragm mouth call. I don't know. I'm kind of weird. I can do a lot of different sounds. So
You do or you don't?
I never do. I can.
Oh, you
just
do it with
whenever
your
we-
mouth? That's your best turkey call?
No, that's pretty much what I use a
That's
lot.
it.
Yeah.
That sounds
Well,
like
hey,
me.
John,
No, with this.
I sound like a beagle when I
So
do it.
this is a rasp. Your mouth calls are all going to be different. So the cuts are going to be different on
You're
them.
not really in the frame.
I know.
I got it.
The cuts are going to be different on these.
You
So
kind of see them.
what you're going to see each cut,
That wing one?
like this is
Oh, there you
this is a bat wing, and
Probably the most common.
right,
One
it
of
looks
those
like a little V notch in them. The different types of cuts are going to give you different sounds. And do you know what model that is by Bully?
This was the double beard. I do believe.
Double beard?
Yeah, they're all different. The colors, they're all color coordinated. So
And so these are a little bit different. Like this one's a deeper tone and a raspier sound.
before you blow that, you have to. For anybody that's never done it, you go the round part. Please hold.
Please hold.
What?
The round part goes to the back of your mouth. And it basically goes to that tallest point on the roof of your mouth. It's basically where that sets. And then you blow air between your tongue and the bottom of this, and it vibrates the latex there. And it sounds like a turkey.
I bought one
Put it
during
in your
deer
mouth.
season, and I tried it. I could not figure out how to get that thing to make noise.
And you can change the pitch, pressure with your tongue.
Pressure changes pitch, where you place it in the top of your mouth, and where you can move it around. You can change the way you move your mouth. There's 100 different ways you can change it. Drive on your way to work, slap this in your mouth, and play with it, and you'll be able to figure it out. And then different cuts make different sounds, and you do different things.
And so for like I can get a raspier tone with my call the further it is in the back of my mouth, and I get a cleaner tone the closer it is to my teeth. So it's probably frozen. A little raspy. that's because the call is like almost in the back of my throat. That's to where you get it closer to the front of your mouth. It's a cleaner, more passive sounding hen. Now, it's really easy to sound one of these. A lot of people don't like the vibration on their tongue and the roof of their mouth. It really irritates them. Some people say it tickles their nose. But with that, I'll say if you get the tickling sensation in your tongue, I think you're using too much of the tip of your tongue. And I don't think anybody ever said that. I'm actually using like the middle of my tongue on the elastic. So what I'm doing,
That was good.
what we're doing here is, I didn't mean for that to sound dirty.
Put yourself together.
But if you put the tip of your tongue on that latex, it's gonna tickle your tongue. And you can throw this in your mouth, like he said. And there's a couple different words that they say, like chirp,
Yeah, on the
Chirp.
back of my package it said chi-yuck.
chiuk. Yeah, chiuk. That'll give you like a yeah.
Yeah.
I was
I've never
literally in my truck going chuck chuck chuck
I've never heard that.
in my truck, and
you
that's
never
what
heard that?
it sounded like. I was saying chuck chuck
Look
chuck.
at any like cheap call. They
You
all
sound
say
like-
what to do.
Say- And like
Hard to do.
the chirp, what they're doing with the P is just trying to get you to enunciate the stop of it. And so like put, just like a little like a hen sounding pretty relaxed, pretty okay with what's going on.
Yep.
She'll just make an ambient noise. It's just like a so like a. That's her just kind of hanging out. She's just kind of farting around, and to do that, you just say, put, and it's just you're loading up your diaphragm and pushing a bunch of air out,
Bring
and
it
then
up a little bit.
like, a super
John was
cut.
saying it gets shallow right here.
You'll hear it too. Birds do all different things. And you don't have to be like, we're not professional callers. I don't even
God,
consider
no.
myself to be that good of a caller
Oh
at all.
God, no.
But you don't have to be. Turkeys all sound different. I've heard hens in the woods that I'm like, wow, she sounds horrible.
Maybe it
But
was
it's
another
but
hunter.
It's a wild. Now I saw her. They come back. They're wild birds. And I'm like, wow, that sounds crazy. And you don't hear the hens as much in Michigan. Out west, you hear hens like crazy.
yeah.
They're
I've
way
never really heard them when I'm deer hunting. I see them, I just never hear them.
They don't talk as much in the fall and winter, but
No.
you'll hear them definitely during the spring,
Yeah.
especially in the mornings.
Yep, right on the roost, they talk a lot.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to call. Don't call too much. Don't be afraid that you sound like garbage. It's not that big of a deal.
And that's the thing. If you're wondering if you should call, give it 5 minutes.
Also,
Should I call now? Give it 5 minutes.
if you really are like, I suck at calling, I can't figure out the slate call, I can't figure out a mouth call, Bully sells box calls, the original box calls. All you do is push a little button on the
They
back
got
of
the
those
push
things.
button.
Oh, no
Just like
kidding.
with
And
calls.
it makes a good turkey sound. A 3-year-old can do it. You can purr with it, you can cluck with it, you can call with it. And they sell the hand box calls too. So
I know how to use one of those just because my dad always had one sitting next to the door, and I'd mess with it every
those
summer
are
in his
both
house.
really, so you can't go wrong with those.
I've never.
And
Kind of more advanced. You can
If
do
you're
more.
also, like my neighbor is a coyote hunter, he's got a game call that's got thousands of different calls on it. And I've seen people call in turkeys with
You
game
can't use
calls.
that.
Don't do it in Michigan.
It's
No, not in Michigan.
No.
highly
Really?
illegal.
Whoa.
Very highly illegal to use
Don't
them.
do that.
Electronic calls.
I did not know that.
Don't
See?
use that in Michigan.
You're
That's
not
a lot
allowed
of,
to use them?
A lot of places you can't use electronic calls.
Really?
For turkeys.
Not in
So
Michigan.
Okay.
don't do that.
Don't do that. In
Don't do
Michigan.
that in Michigan. Don't get caught turkey reaping in Michigan, which is where you walk behind the fan and
Yeah.
shoot the bird. It's the most fun way to shoot turkeys, and the Michigan DNR needs to fix it.
For whatever reason.
At
Probably
least
the same-
At least for private land. I understand if you don't want them to do it on public land. It's
The
not
same
people that get
reason-
shot every year, but
The same reason that we can only shoot one tom in the spring.
yeah.
Yeah, and one a day in the fall.
Yeah.
So, in conclusion, it's been like an hour of this.
Yeah, for sure.
Go drive around and scout. One last thing, my biggest tip for turkey hunting before we conclude.
That was awesome.
My biggest.
Wait.
That was a
Okay.
pause. That was a pause. My biggest tip for turkey hunting is hunt. If you're deathly afraid to hunt in the rain, I would say hunt in the rain, but hunt after a rain.
Yeah, that's
Go hunt after the rain.
Right after a rain.
The turkeys they move so much after rain.
Yeah.
During the rain?
There's one in our video. It's a thunderstorm. and we blasted
and
the
that's
bird
in the
face.
morning, yeah.
Yeah, it was first thing in the morning. Thunder,
No
thunder,
kidding.
lightning. You couldn't even hear. The blind was so loud.
Filmed it?
Poured on. Yeah, filmed it.
Oh, you're
the one.
right.
It's on our intro. The bird gets shot in the face.
Okay.
You push back.
It's that's something
Yeah.
about the rain. I mean, it's food. They're gonna get new food, and they're gonna want to get out of the woods because they're gonna be hidden in the woods when it rains hard.
Yeah.
They're gonna want to get out of the woods to sunbathe and dry themselves off. They're not like waterfowl. They don't have the oils. They actually get soaking wet, so they want to
Yeah.
come out.
And
Get
there's
all
new
that water
food. The
out.
worm. When it rains, worms come up. Bugs come out. Frogs are out. So they get out there and they eat everything.
Yeah.
So when it rains, go hunting.
Where? Yeah.
That's I can't.
Fields.
That's my. If it rains, I will leave work. I'm going hunting that day.
What is your most
Double
valuable
bust
thing?
out.
Double bust.
What is your can't do without turkey hunt?
biggest piece of turkey advice?
Biggest peak of yeah.
That's yours?
That's mine for sure. Hunt during and
During
after
or
rains.
after rain? What's yours?
I think my biggest one would be don't be afraid to move.
Okay.
Move spots.
Now, when you're
If
moving, are you
have-
moving slow? Or
If you have the
try to
property,
be stealthy?
if you have the property, I mean, definitely move slow and utilize.
You're not just gonna
glassing
walk
with
out across your
binoculars.
field?
No. Yeah, move and don't be afraid to every couple hundred yards, give some slight purrs and a couple clucks and see if you get a response from it. If you have the property, I like personally, if I'm hunting in the morning and it sucks or you don't get a bird or whatever, is get in the truck and drive and look for a bird, a tom that's strutting in the
On
field.
property, you have permission to.
Yeah,
obviously.
We knock on a lot of doors.
Yeah, I mean, I have more turkey permission and places to hunt than
Is it easier to get turkey permission than deer? You just say?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's still
Why
not.
that is?
It's not many people.
Yeah.
How many people do you deer hunt? You know, turkey hunt.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, but a lot of times you'll hear people say that their property's leased and just go with it. It doesn't mean that it's leased for turkeys. It's just go on, move along. There's a lot of places. Don't be afraid to look somewhere you've never seen a turkey in the fall.
Michigan's got a lot of birds.
Okay.
Well, Hunter took mine. That's exactly what I was gonna say. Don't be afraid to move.
You don't have any other ones?
That and I guess we've already touched on it, but don't overcall.
Yeah,
I
that's a huge mistake.
I've been out hunting with guys that are great callers, and they'll call in birds, but I don't know if that's on their own free will or if it was their call because they were calling so much. And I've also been hunting with people that if you're hunting with two people like, okay, one person call, one person be in charge of calling, one person be in charge of shooting, because I personally have overcalled the shit out of some birds, and
Yeah, it's a learning curve.
yeah, don't overcall. Like I said, if you're thinking to yourself, man, I should call right now, just give it 5 more minutes because they're not going far. Turkey. Niko, like Niko says, they do their own turkey thing. They're on turkey time. They're not in any rush to get anywhere. Every now and again, you're going to get a screaming tom that's going to come flying across the field and charge at your decoys, which is sweet. You're going to poop your pants a little bit, but in general, they're going to move as a whole group, and they're kind of just going to walk around and laze around. So that 5 more minutes, they're not worried about it. So just don't overcall.
I got a really important, valuable piece of advice.
Lay it out there.
All right, so I have no idea how to turkey hunt, so just get out there. Get some
Yeah.
interest in it, because I've never had interest in it, and listen to these guys talk over the last few months. And seeing a lot of turkey out of my deer hunting property, I've kind of always been like, well, maybe I should get out there and shoot a turkey. Listen to this podcast. If we didn't cover everything that you wish we did, send us an email or hit us up on Instagram or Facebook, whatever. Comment on our YouTube, however you want to get a hold of us. We'll typically generally get back to you. If we don't, send us another message and we'll get back to you eventually. But ask us the question, whatever. And one of these guys will be able to answer it. And yeah, just get out there. That's it.
Go do it.
Get out there and learn how to do it.
Get a bully's game call.
Do
Go sit in the
it!
woods.
Yeah, get a bully's game call.
Damn it!
Good luck, y'all.
I forgot something.
Let's go
But,
get that.
You guys good? You got another one?
Yeah, I had one more thing.
Real quick?
Hurry up.
Real quick, just to end it. It's kind of actually pretty important, and these guys can shed some light on it. I've never done it.
Real quick, John.
Real quick. Deer hunting, you shoot your big buck, then you're like, man, now all my property's soiled. Nope.
Yes.
You can shoot
Oh, that is good.
a whole flock of turkeys at the same time.
Well, you can't because it's illegal, but
you can
do it
have
with your
you can bring your friends.
all of your buddies.
Your friends can
shoot a
shoot
whole
one
flock
each.
of
Done there.
freaking.
Yeah.
Done it.
Tom.
We've
All
done
right.
it. We've done
Done
it.
it.
So if you
So-
shoot a bird, you don't have to run after it like they do on TV.
No, don't
so you
run
just
after
leave
it
and they'll come back. Other ones will come back.
and hunt that
Jump it a
same
lot of
spot.
times. Yeah.
And hunt that
You
same
can hunt it the
spot.
next day. You can hunt it that night.
We have footage of our dad killing. There was 3 times coming. He shoots one. Then the next day, hunter goes out there. There's 2 times they come in and they shoot one. Now there's 1 tom left and they killed him a few days later. Killed all 3 of those toms.
Okay.
So don't
In the
spook
same
your field
spot.
out. They'll be
Yeah.
there.
That
Same
is
spot.
that is really good.
And don't
advice.
think it's going to ruin your turkey population, because trust me, there's plenty of turkeys.
There's too many of them. Kill them
All
all.
right, we've had a tip up that's been
Flag up!
going so
Let's go check the
that's
flag.
it.
Do you guys want to come along?
Make sure you go
Boys game calls. Bye, Mom.
check us out on Instagram, Facebook,
Our number
YouTube.
1 follower.
Subscribe, give us 5 stars. Helps us out. Thanks.
Thank God, my foot was getting real slippery right there. Thought I was going down.